Hi, so I wanted to take this video note. I have finally come around to the idea of a different type of glove interface. This is the Nomo model I've been working on, um, and it's great. But what I'm realizing is that the touch sensors work. They work, but pressing them with my fingertips is it's like I want a certain level of you know lightness that I need to have to be able to play right, and I'm not getting that with the sensors I've designed. I've tried thicker sensors. I've tried the thing that I have started doing that seems to work is that if I put the cathode on the bottom and the anode on the top, I mean the cathode on the bottom, the pin on the top of one side of one disc, you see, if I do that, and oops, sorry, you can't see that. You can see I've got multiple, discs there, and they're on top, and the anode on top of that, that I'm able to kind of press the pin in between the cathode and the anode and get a very clean reading. But the amount of pressure I need to do to make that stable um, is more than I can do quickly playing the way that I feel I need to play. So I have been playing with a few other ideas, and one of those ideas is a thing I call, let me see if I can take this off and find the other one, a thing I call a knuckle switch. So, let's see, give me a second. Okay, here we go. Sorry, took a second. So this is called a knuckle switch. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the light is too bright. Let me turn the exposure down on this thing real quick. Just a second. There we go. It's a little too low now. There we go. Just about like that. Okay. Like I said, it's a little dark down here. Alright, so this is called a knuckle switch. Right? So what this does, let me see if I can focus that automatically because the focus isn't doing me any favors right now. So you can see that the way this works is that there is a piece. This piece will have that anode that I talked about before. This piece at the top will be conductive, and it'll have the cathode at the top and the pin at the bottom, so that when I put this in here and have the anode on it, it'll push up against that, right? Now, if I was pushing that with my fingertip, the amount of pressure would be prohibitive, not because I couldn't do it, but because I wouldn't be able to play fast enough to make it, worth the effort. So, what I do with this is that I put this on like this, right? And so now you can see that there's a little roller there underneath the finger there. And so when I flex my finger, it's pushing up, you see? And so it's a lot of pressure going up, up it to where that sensor contact is. So basically, let me put the autofocus back on. So basically, I can do this, you see? Now, that's in addition to having a sensor here. So that means that each finger has two joints, one here and one here, right? So what that looks like, what it looks like is this. So far, this is just a mock-up. It's not even a good mock-up. But it does allow me to play around with the idea. See, one of the nice things is that my fingertips are free. So each finger, including the thumb, but I haven't gotten that far yet, each finger will have a knuckle switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I might not do the pinky, but we're gonna see. And then, and this mechanism on the lower knuckles is not complete yet, but you can see, and this it's a little bit too soft, but you can see how, see that piece right there that's moving in the middle. You see, it's not very good yet, but it's, you know, I'll get it to work. Now, what this will allow me to do is play like this and use all that pressure from that strong part of the hand, of the finger, to instantiate the sensor. So what's happening is that the sensor has a range from, let's say, here to here, right? Now, what happens is that down here, this is fluctuating just a little bit, right? So this is 0, this is 1. This is all the way off, this is all the way on. And so this is always kind of fluctuating in that bottom 10 to 15%, right? I've tried everything to get that to not happen, but it still happens. And so that bottom 10 to 15% is always just kind of jumping, right? So the thing is that I have to gate it so that the start position for triggering anything is above that noise, right? But when that happens, that means that I have to press at least that hard to make anything happen, right? So that gives me less range, and I have to really be pressing hard with my fingertips to get anything to happen. Whereas with the knuckle switch, it's like the amount of effort that I have to do to go from fully off to fully on is much less effort than when I'm pushing with my fingertip. So what that means is that when that I should be able to have access to the full range, which means I don't have to gate the lower end. Just flexing my finger a little bit should make it jump from, you know, from here to here very easily, you know. So it should be very easy to just go, you know, as soon as I start flexing my finger, it should just be sitting right about here. So that means that if I gate that bottom range, it's not going to affect my ability to play fast, because my fingers just moving, those joints are very, very strong, so much stronger than what can be pushed with the fingertips. So I should be able to, you know, have that going, and then, oh, yeah, these are working actually. That's interesting. Now you can see them, but I don't want them moving around like that. Those will be stationary, but at least the mechanisms inside them are working. That mechanism's not going to stay, so, you know, I might as well show it to you now, since it won't be around by this time tomorrow. But I can do all the binary fingerings with what I'll call my base knuckle, and then I can do a secondary binary system with the kind of the mid knuckle, right? So altogether per hand, I'm looking at about 14 bits of data that I can input. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10. But then, because it's binary, I can do combinations. So that would be, so let's say for this finger, right? Let's see if I can do it like that. For this finger, you have 1, and then you have 2, which means you actually have 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's like all off, and then just the base knuckle, just the upper knuckle, and then both the knuckles together, right? So that would give me 3, well, 4, but technically, but 3 positions per finger. So then instead of 8, you got 12 there, and then you've got another 3 on there, so it's actually 15. So that's 15 bits of input data. 15 bits of input data. That's 32,000 combinations with one hand. And then you add the other hand, and you're looking at billions of combinations of fingerings, to input with. So you can see why I switched the thing over to this, and I believe this is going to be so much more beautiful. I mean, you can see it now. It's like, I think that having the fingertips open is gorgeous. This part here, like I said, is not going to stay. That's ugly, really. But I just needed a way. I needed something that was going to hold that in place while I tested this part. So the next video, I should have at least one working knuckle sensor, and then I can abstract that out to the rest. Peace.